There comes a time in every individual's life when they reach the threshold of their struggle, a point where the weight of their burdens feels overwhelming, as though the pressure will surely break them. It is in these moments of deep exhaustion, when the heart aches and the soul seems weary, that the divine whispers into our hearts with an eternal promise. This is the end of your struggle. I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on where you are right now in your life. Think about the battles you've fought, the ones no one else has seen, the ones that you've silently endured. Perhaps you've questioned why things have been so difficult. You've prayed, you've cried, you've asked for help, but the response has seemed silent. Yet the promise remains. This is the end of your struggle, and is not just a hopeful wish, not just a fleeting thought. It is a declaration of divine timing, a word spoken into existence by the Creator of all things. In the midst of your pain, your confusion, and your doubt, God is declaring that the time of struggle is over. But before you can fully embrace this promise, we must first acknowledge something deeply profound. The struggle you've experienced has not been in vain. Every battle, every tear, every sleepless night has had purpose. There's a reason for the journey you've walked, and though it has been long and grueling, it has been refining you, shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. You see, God does not waste pain. He does not allow you to suffer for no reason. The struggle that has so deeply burdened you is the very thing that is preparing you for the breakthrough that is now on the horizon. Many of us have a tendency to view our struggles as burdens, as obstacles that are standing in our way, preventing us from reaching the dreams we so desperately desire. But what if, instead of looking at your challenges as roadblocks, you looked at them as stepping stones? What if, instead of focusing on how hard it is to carry the weight, you recognize that the weight is strengthening you, building the endurance you will need for what lies ahead? What if your struggle has been nothing but a tool in the hand of God, shaping you for the greatness He has destined for you? There is a truth that we must come to terms with. God allows us to go through struggles, not because He enjoys watching us suffer, but because He sees the bigger picture. He knows that on the other side of this hardship, there is something far greater waiting for us, something that will only be revealed through the fire we are walking through. There is a scripture that says, "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." This is not a promise that we won't face difficulty, but a promise that in the midst of it, we are not alone, and even more, we are being prepared for the glory that will follow. Now, I understand that this may not make sense to you in this very moment. Perhaps right now you are standing in the middle of your struggle and it feels as though the end is nowhere in sight. You may be thinking, how could this possibly be the end of my struggle when it feels like everything is falling apart? But let me remind you that the end of your struggle does not always come in the way you expect it. It may not come in an instant, but it will come. God's timing is always perfect, even when it seems delayed in our eyes. He knows when the right moment is, when the refining work is done, and when you are ready for the next phase of your life. One of the most challenging things in life is the waiting. It is during the waiting that our faith is tested, our patience is stretched, and our trust in God's plan is deepened. But in the waiting, there is also a deepening of our character. Waiting teaches us that we are not in control and that the outcome is not solely dependent on our effort, but on God's will. It teaches us to rest, to trust, and to surrender. And while we wait, we learn to see God in ways we never would have seen Him otherwise. We learn to hear His voice more clearly, to discern His direction more accurately, and to rely on His strength more fully. For some of you, this waiting period has been particularly hard. You've wondered why it's taking so long, why it seems like the breakthrough is always just out of reach. But I want to encourage you that there is something happening behind the scenes. Even when it seems like nothing is changing, God is working. Even in the silence, God is moving. And in the fullness of time, you will see the manifestation of His promises. Your struggle, no matter how long, is coming to an end. When we speak of the end of your struggle, we're not simply talking about the cessation of hardship. We are speaking of a shift, a transformation. The end of your struggle means that you will look back on these seasons of difficulty and see them for what they were, not just painful, but purifying. You will see them as the moments when God was refining your faith, your character, and your perspective. And when that breakthrough comes, when that moment of relief finally arrives, you will stand on the other side of your struggle and realize that it was all worth it. This is a hard truth to embrace because we live in a world that promises instant gratification, where everything is expected to come easily and quickly, but the divine process doesn't work that way. The process of becoming who God has called you to be takes time, and it requires effort, perseverance, and at times, great struggle. But in that struggle, you are being molded into something beautiful, something eternal. And when that transformation is complete, you will find yourself standing in a place of peace, of joy, and of strength that you never thought possible. Let me speak directly to those who are on the brink of giving up, to those who feel like they cannot take another step, who feel that the weight is just too much to bear. To those who are questioning whether this struggle will ever end, this is the end of your struggle. God has not forgotten you. He has not left you. He is right here with you in the midst of your pain, and He is preparing you for what's next. It may not be easy to see now, but in the fullness of time, you will realize that this was the moment when everything changed. You are not defined by your struggles. You are not defined by your failures or your hardships. You are defined by your ability to rise again, to stand firm, to continue moving forward, no matter how hard it gets. Your strength is not found in the absence of struggle, but in your ability to overcome it. And the fact that you are still standing here today, still breathing, still hoping, is evidence that you have already won the battle. The struggle is ending because you have made it through. You are on the verge of your breakthrough. I want you to envision a moment in the future when you look back on this time, when you think about the pain, the frustration, the doubt, and the uncertainty. You will see it not as the defining moment of your life, but as the moment when your true self began to emerge. The end of your struggle will not just mark the end of hardship, it will mark the beginning of a new chapter, a new season of abundance, peace, and purpose. So I encourage you, hold on just a little bit longer. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. You are stronger than you realize, and the end of your struggle is nearer than you ever imagined. Keep pressing forward. Keep believing. Keep trusting. And when the time comes, when the end of your struggle arrives, you will know that all of it, the pain, the heartache, the exhaustion, was just the birth pangs of something far greater. The story of your life is not finished yet. The best chapters are still ahead. The end of your struggle is only the beginning of something new, so don't give up. Don't stop now. The end of your struggle is coming, and when it does, you will step into a season of peace, of purpose, and of glory that you could have never imagined before. Hold on, for the best is yet to come. Every challenge, no matter how difficult, has a purpose. The struggles you faced are refining and preparing you for something greater. Though it may be hard to see in the moment, these struggles are shaping your character, deepening your faith, and building the resilience needed for the breakthrough that is about to come. The pain is temporary, but the transformation it creates is eternal. The promise of the end of your struggle is not just about relief from hardship, but a shift in perspective. It's the moment when you step into a new season of peace, purpose, and growth. The struggle is not the final chapter, it is the preparation for a new and better chapter of your life. Keep moving forward, because the best is yet to come. There's a saying that every struggle carries with it a lesson, but it's more than just a cliche. It's a profound truth that can change the way we perceive our hardships. It's easy to become consumed by pain, to think that our battles are pointless, or that they are unfair and unending. The weight of the struggle can feel suffocating, and in those moments, it's natural to wonder if we'll ever see the other side of it. We might even ask, why me, or why this? But what if we started to look at our struggles not as burdens to bear, but as the very thing that is shaping us for the greatness we are destined to reach? Each challenge we face, no matter how painful, is actively participating in the refinement of our character. It might not feel like it in the moment, but every obstacle, every setback, every moment of doubt and uncertainty is teaching us something. Whether it's patience, resilience, humility, or trust, there is a purpose behind every struggle. We may not always see it immediately, but as time passes, we begin to realize that our struggles weren't in vain. They were part of the process of preparing us for something greater. The process of refining is not a pleasant one. Just as gold must be heated to incredible temperatures to remove its impurities, so too must we undergo trials to reveal the strength, character, and faith within us. The heat of our struggles burns away what isn't necessary, what holds us back, what limits our potential. It's in this refining process that we emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the version of ourselves that we were always meant to become. Think about a time in your life when you went through something challenging. Maybe it was a personal loss, a financial setback, a broken relationship, or even a health battle. During that time, it likely felt as though the weight was unbearable. You probably questioned if you would make it through, or if you'd ever find peace again. But now looking back, can you see how you've changed? Can you see how that struggle has contributed to the person you are today? I'd bet that you've developed a new level of patience, strength, or understanding that you didn't have before. And most importantly, you likely learned something about yourself that you couldn't have learned without that struggle. This idea that struggle shapes us for something greater can be difficult to fully accept when we're in the midst of the pain. When we're standing at the foot of a mountain looking up at the impossible climb ahead, it's hard to see the purpose of the journey. We wonder why we must face such difficulty, why we can't just reach the summit without the fight. But what we often forget is that the climb itself is where the transformation happens. It's not at the top where you become stronger, more resilient, or wiser. It's along the journey, as you push through the exhaustion, as you take each step one after the other. Even when it feels like you can't go on, it's through the challenge that your true strength is revealed. The struggle, the difficulty, and the obstacles you face are not things that have been placed in your life to break you. They are tools that are being used to build you up. The divine hand that created you, that shaped you in your mother's womb, understands exactly what you need to go through in order to fulfill your purpose. What may seem like senseless pain is actually a part of a greater plan that you may not understand yet, but one that is forming you into the person you need to be to carry out the destiny you were meant for. We live in a culture that often seeks instant gratification. We want things now, we want solutions quickly, and we don't want to wait. So when struggles come, they feel like disruptions in the way things are supposed to be. We're not accustomed to working through difficulties for long periods of time. We're used to things being easy, and when they aren't, it's tempting to feel defeated. But the truth is, the most meaningful breakthroughs don't come overnight. They don't come through the easy path. They come through struggle and perseverance. It's the struggle that makes the victory taste so much sweeter because it's the struggle that has prepared us for it. Take a moment to consider how much more you've learned about yourself during times of hardship. We often think we know who we are, but it's only when we face difficulty that we truly discover our capacity for growth. We learn how resilient we can be, how strong our faith is, and how much we are capable of enduring. It's in the struggle that we are pushed beyond our limits, and it's in those moments that we realize just how much potential we have for growth. Consider the lives of those who have gone through remarkable struggles. If you look at anyone who has overcome significant adversity, you'll notice that their strength didn't come from living an easy life. It came from their ability to rise after every fall, to keep going even when things seemed hopeless. It's these very struggles that have built their character and have equipped them to handle greater responsibility, greater impact, and greater influence. Think of someone who has overcome an illness. In the beginning, it may have seemed like the battle was unwinnable, but over time, through perseverance, faith, and strength, they come out on the other side transformed. Not only have they become stronger physically, but emotionally and mentally, they've developed a new sense of resilience and gratitude for life. Their struggle has shaped them into someone who understands the value of help, the importance of community, and the beauty of perseverance. Similarly, when we go through personal trials, whether it's the loss of a job, or relationship breakdown, or financial difficulty, we may feel like we're stuck in an unending cycle of hardship. But it's in these moments that we learn what truly matters. We find out what we're really made of. We realize what we can endure and how we can adapt. And we also learn about the strength that comes from leaning on others, from accepting help, and from finding faith in the midst of uncertainty. It's easy to get lost in the struggle, to feel like it's all consuming, and to forget that there is an end to it. But every season has a beginning and an end. No matter how difficult things feel now, the struggle will eventually come to a close. And when it does, you will look back with a sense of gratitude for the lessons you learned along the way. The pain, the uncertainty, and the frustration will not define you. Rather, it will be the strength you gained, the wisdom you earned, and the faith you built that will shape the person you become. In fact, the end of the struggle is where your breakthrough happens. It's when you've finally made it to the other side that you realize just how far you've come. What once seemed impossible now feels like a distant memory. And you find yourself equipped with new skills, new knowledge, and a new perspective. The breakthrough is not just a moment of relief, but a moment of recognition of how much you've grown, how much you've learned, and how much more capable you are than you ever imagined. And so, while it's easy to be overwhelmed by the struggle, it's important to remember that every hardship is preparing you for the future. It's helping you develop the character and strength you'll need to face even greater challenges and to step into a life of purpose and fulfillment. The struggle is not in vain. It is shaping you for the breakthrough that is waiting for you on the other side. If you're in the midst of a struggle today, I encourage you to take heart. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. The breakthrough is coming. It's closer than you think. Every step you take, every day you endure, is bringing you one step closer to the transformation you've been waiting for. The struggles you face today are the very things that will shape you into the person you need to be in order to embrace the greatness that is destined for you. Keep going, keep believing, and remember that your struggle is not in vain. It's shaping your breakthrough. And when it arrives, you will see the full beauty of the journey you've walked. There is something deeply profound about the idea that every ending marks a new beginning. When we are caught in the thick of struggle, it can often feel as though we are trapped in a cycle that will never break. Pain and hardship can cloud our vision, making it difficult to see beyond the current moment. We find ourselves yearning for relief, wishing for the battle to end, but rarely do we stop to consider that the end of our struggle is not just an end, it is a door that opens to a new chapter of life, a new season of growth, and a new opportunity for transformation. The end of your struggle is not merely the cessation of pain. It is the starting point of a new journey, a chance to begin again, but this time with the wisdom, strength, and resilience you've gained through the trials you've faced. The struggles that have tested you, that have stretched you, that have pushed you to the brink, are the very things that have prepared you for what comes next. Without them, you would not have the clarity, the character, or the courage to step into the future that awaits you. When we are going through a difficult season, we are often consumed by the weight of the struggle. It is all-encompassing. The pain, the uncertainty, the exhaustion, these things cloud our judgment and make it hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We ask ourselves questions like, why is this happening? Or how much longer can I take this? The idea of a new beginning feels far away, distant, almost impossible. But what we fail to recognize is that every difficult moment we face is laying the foundation for something greater. Each struggle has its purpose, and it is in these moments of hardship that we are being prepared for the breakthrough we have been waiting for. The end of your struggle means that you have fought the good fight. You've endured, you've pressed on when it would have been easier to give up. You've taken steps even when you weren't sure where they would lead. And now, because of your perseverance, you stand on the edge of something new, a new chapter, a new season of life. But the beginning is not just about stepping into a new reality. It is about stepping into a new version of yourself. There is a significant transformation that occurs during times of struggle. When life knocks us down, when we face challenges that seem insurmountable, we have two choices. We can either be consumed by the circumstances or we can rise above them. It's in our rising, in our refusal to be defined by the hardship, that we become something greater than we were before. The struggle does not break us, it molds us. It teaches us patience, perseverance, faith, and resilience. We discover strengths we never knew we had, and we begin to see life through a new lens. This new perspective is key to understanding that the end of your struggle is not just an escape from pain, it is a doorway to a richer, fuller life. When we are in the midst of hardship, we often fail to see the gifts it is giving us. We are focused on the discomfort, the uncertainty, the toll it is taking on us. But with time, as the struggle begins to fade, we start to see the hidden blessings that were woven into it. Perhaps it was a lesson in patience, in trusting God's timing, or in learning how to lean on others for support. Maybe it was a lesson in resilience, teaching us that we are stronger than we ever thought possible. The struggle, in its own way, prepares us for the blessings waiting just beyond it. When the struggle ends, it's like a weight is lifted. There is a lightness in our spirit, a sense of freedom that wasn't there before. We feel like we've been set free from the chains that once held us down. And yet, this freedom is not just about relief from hardship, it's about the ability to move forward with confidence and clarity. The struggle has stripped away the things that no longer serve us, the things that have been hindering our progress. It has cleared the path for us to step into the future with renewed purpose and determination. But this new beginning does not come without its challenges. When one chapter ends, it is natural to feel both excitement and fear. The end of a struggle can bring about feelings of uncertainty as well as hope. You might find yourself asking, what now? Or how do I begin again? And while it is natural to feel apprehensive about what comes next, it's important to remember that the journey of transformation is ongoing. Every new beginning is part of a greater story, and each chapter builds upon the one before it. In fact, the end of your struggle may feel like a blank canvas. After going through a season of hardship, it can sometimes feel as though we are starting from scratch, unsure of where to go next or how to proceed. But this is where the real beauty lies. When we are no longer weighed down by our struggles, We have the freedom to create, to dream, and to move forward with intention. The past no longer defines us. It has shaped us, yes, but it does not dictate what comes next. We have the power to write the next chapter of our lives. This new beginning is also an invitation to reimagine who we are and what we are capable of. When we are caught in the throes of struggle, it's easy to forget our worth, our potential, and our purpose. The pain and difficulty can cloud our sense of self and make us doubt our abilities. But once the struggle ends, we emerge from the ashes of that pain with a renewed sense of clarity. We remember who we are. We remember the dreams we once had, the passions we once pursued, and the goals we once set for ourselves. And now, with fresh eyes, we can approach these things with a deeper understanding of what they truly mean to us. The end of your struggle brings a profound sense of healing. There is an emotional, spiritual, and sometimes even physical restoration that takes place when the battle is over. Wounds that once felt so raw begin to heal, and scars that seemed like they would never fade begin to fade into the background. The pain is not forgotten, but it no longer controls us. It no longer defines us. Instead, it becomes a part of our story, part of the tapestry that makes us who we are. It is the testimony of our journey, the proof that we made it through and emerged stronger on the other side. In the midst of a struggle, it can feel as though the world is against us. We might question our decisions, our worth, and our path. But when the struggle ends, we realize that everything we've gone through has been part of a divine plan. Even the darkest moments, even the hardest times, were all pieces of a larger picture, a picture that is only fully revealed when the struggle is over. The end of the struggle is the moment when we can finally step back and see how everything fits together, how each piece of the puzzle contributes to the whole. This new beginning does not mean that there won't be future struggles. Life is full of ups and downs, twists and turns, but what it does mean is that we are now equipped to face whatever comes next. We have gained wisdom, strength, and resilience through our previous struggles, and we are no longer the same person we were before. The end of the struggle marks a new chapter where we are more prepared, more confident, and more capable of handling whatever challenges lie ahead. So as you step into this new beginning, remember that the end of your struggle is not the end of your journey. It is simply the start of something new, something better, something more aligned with your true purpose. You have been transformed through the fire of your struggles, and now you are ready to walk boldly into the future, knowing that whatever comes, you are more than equipped to handle it. The end of your struggle is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength. It is the beginning of your next chapter, the start of a new season, and the unfolding of the future you were always meant to embrace.